Hello and welcome to my video, lesson 4.6 and 4.7 about triangles and quadrilaterals. So there are two things to remember, one for triangles, one for quadrilaterals, but that's really all that you have to know. So let me just go through it quickly and then we'll try some example questions quickly for you. So triangles, the one thing you have to remember is that all the angles, so if you have a triangle that looks like this, all the angles A, B, and C, A plus B plus C, all together have to equal 180 degrees. And in terms of a quadrilateral, that is any four-sided shape, all the angles A, B, C, and D have to add together to equal 360 degrees. So if that's true, so then if we have all but one of the angles, we can just subtract to get the answer. So let's look here, for example, 180 degrees minus A minus B equals C. And in terms of a quadrilateral, 360 degrees minus A minus B minus C equals D. And that's all you have to know. Now there are some cases later on that will be slightly more complicated, but not much more. Okay, looking at this first triangle here, let's use that method to our advantage. Let's try a different color here, maybe blue. 180 minus 70 equals 110 minus 50 equals 60. So that means this leftover angle is 60. Looking at this next one, this is one of those quote-unquote tricks that you have to know about. If there's this sign, then you know this is a 90 degree. Okay, that's what that sign tells you. It's a right angle, which means it's 90 degrees. And then if you ever see a 90 and you have to subtract 180 by 90, it's half, right? So you're left over with 90 degrees. Then you subtract by 30, and you're left with 60 degrees. So again, turns out this leftover angle is 60. Okay, now we're going to look at this other one here. We have 180 degrees minus 30. Let's go with that one first. So that equals 150 degrees minus 55. Well, we're super close, but we have to being 100, but we have one set of 5 less, so 95 degrees. So this is 95 degrees. Now, if you do try to measure these, I didn't draw the triangles very perfectly, so who knows if those angles are correct on mine. But you'll find that if you draw a triangle with these three angles, it will work. Okay, and this is like the most complicated you might possibly see in grade 6, although it's definitely a higher level question. So you can see that there are actually 3 different triangles. So I'm going to try to highlight all 3 for you here. So here is one triangle, right? You can see that one on the left side. You can also see this one on the right side, and you can see the triangle around the entire outside, right? So there's 3 triangles you could look at. The one on the left, you only know one of the angles, so you can't figure anything out. The one on the right, you only know one of the angles, so you can't figure anything out. But you do know that this total angle is 90. So that means you have 90 and you have 30. So you can find D, right? This angle, because of the outside triangle. So D equals 180 minus 90 minus 30. Okay, that's one possible way you could go about doing this. The other is to notice that, well, hey, we know that this angle here, this total angle, is 90. So that means that 60 plus A must be 90. So we can also just think of it as 90 minus 60 equals A. And that equals 30. So you can go about it two directions, D first or A first. If you do D first, you'll get that this is 60. And now B and C are somewhat easy. So 30, 30. So to get B, we can go 180 minus 30 minus 30 again. So it's like having minus 60. So 1 equals 120. So B equals 120 degrees. Then C, you can remember that this is a straight line, if you think about that. So that means it's a 180. So 180 minus 120 equals C, or it equals 60. The other way to look at C is to look at this 60-degree angle and this 60-degree angle, and notice that that triangle has to be 180. So 180 minus 60 again equals C, and it still equals 60. So no matter how you look at it, the rule works out. So C equals 60, D equals 60, A equals 30, B equals 120. Okay, that's a whole bunch of triangle options. Now we're going to look at a couple quadrilaterals. You can see here that we have two 90s, and if all sides are equal, then actually we're going to have another two 90s. That's a square, or a rectangle. Okay? In this case, it's a square because all sides are equal. That's what this shows, right? So if one side has a line in it, one line means that all sides that only have one line through it are all equal. So in this case, these sides, this side and this side, are equal, but the other two sides aren't. This is a parallelogram. Parallelograms will have opposite corners being equal. So these two corners are equal, the parallelogram, and these two corners are equal, which is very helpful to know because now you can go 360 minus 240, which is 120 plus 120, 40, equals 120. And then there's two angles, X and X, I'm going to call them. So that means we have to split 120 into two angles, so 60. So X equals 60 degrees. Please pause at any point before I do these so that you guys can try them out beforehand and then watch how I do them afterwards. So what is the leftover angle here? Well, we have, this one's actually fairly straightforward. You just have to go through the process and remember that this is a 90 because it's a right angle. So 360 minus 200. That's what I'll do first. Well, maybe we'll go this way. Minus 200 equals 160. Then minus 90 equals 70. Then minus 45. And we're left with 25. Yeah, 25. So that means that this here is 25 degrees. Looking at our, I think our last one here, we have a trapezoid, which means that these two sides are equal to each other, but the other two sides are unequal. So if you can see that, and if you know that these two angles are the same, you know that these two are going to be the same as each other. Okay, so if two of the angles at the bottom are the same, and the two sides are the same, the other two angles are going to be the same. So check this out. So 360 minus 70. Well, let's do minus 70 twice. So let's do minus 140. So we're left with 220. Then minus 110 equals 110. And that is our answer over here. 110 degrees. So I hope that this video helps you understand quadrilaterals and triangles. The main thing is whatever angle you have, if you know what it's going to equal, you can just subtract what you have so far to get the leftovers. Just like in here, just like in here. If it's a straight line and you have your straight line cut up by two angles, here and here, you can do the same thing because a straight line you know is 180. If it's a right angle and it's cut up into two smaller angles, small angle here, bigger angle here, you can do the same thing, but 90 minus whatever. It's the same logic flowing through in both cases. I hope this video helps, and good luck.